Hey, what's up everybody? It's Casey here at Cerise Fly and Tackle. Today I'm going to show you something a little bit different. We're going to do a marabou float fishing jig, one that I like to call the Thrill Zone. Alright, so for a hook, I'm taking a 1/4 Compleat angler Cerise jig head, fix that into the jaws of the Renzetti vise, and I'm going to tie or fix my tying thread in. I'm using fluorescent pink 140 denier UTC Ultra thread. We're just going to tie this in behind the jig head, lay down a little bit of a thread base to tie our materials onto. Hook shanks are really slippery, so putting down some thread allows everything to bite in and stay in place where we want it. For the first material, we're going to take some Nature Spirit Fish Hunter Marabou in the color fluorescent yellow, and this is basically going to be a series of stacked marabou colors, essentially. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the fluff off the base of the feather, just makes it a little bit easier to work with, and we're going to tie this in by the tip and palmer these in. I'm going to go not quite halfway down the hook shank and start tying in these materials. Now there are different lengths of marabou that's out there. This is sort of just the standard length, the regular fish hunter marabou. There is spey marabou as well too. That will determine how long of a jig that you have here. The longer the marabou, the longer the jig or the fly will be. It's not so much the hook shank that is going to determine that. It will a little bit. I mean, if you got a giant, massive, long hook, obviously your fly is going to be way longer. But if you use the same size marabou on a size 2 hook as you do as a size 2/0, you're pretty much going to have the same length of fly or jig in this case. Sorry. So we're going to wrap this to 3 times. Yeah, this feather's a little bit thin. I might go one more. Tie that off. And so I did a couple of fairly loose wraps here. Now this can be a little tricky, but basically I'm just going to try and fish that stem out with the tips of my scissors, and I'm going to just try and cut as much as just that stem as I can, and I'm going to try and pull that excess material out. You can pull that whole feather through sometimes, which can be a little frustrating, but that's just how I like to keep my bulk down. So a couple of wraps of that yellow. We're going to follow that up with some fluorescent light pink. Again, strip all that junk off the bottom. All right, just wet that a little bit. Sometimes wetting it down a little bit just makes it a little bit easier to work with. We're going to stroke those fibers back. And I think I'm just going to do 2 wraps of this light pink. Same thing, we're going to try and just get that stem. A couple of wraps just to make sure it's all secure. Next color. Where did it go? We're going to go with a single piece of fluorescent orange. Get that fluff off. Going in by the tip again. And now you'll notice, well, I hope you notice that I'm not tying in right at the very, very tip. That stem's very fragile there. I like to go back a little bit just to make things a little bit more durable. There, that one was getting a little extra unruly on me. Two wraps. Let's go 3 of the orange. Next we're going Magic Magenta. There. Lock it in that time. Couple of wraps of that magenta. And then we're going to finish it off with some purple. Yet to meet a steelhead that doesn't like the color purple, and I just like the color, or the contrast that it gives this fly, especially right at the front there. Couple of wraps of that purple there. I missed a little bit of that stem, so we'll clean that up a little bit. And then just to add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of flash, I'm just going to take some Flashabou in the color Ice Pearl, and we're just going to throw a few strands of that down both sides of the jig. Let that kind of go all over, let it do what it wants to do. And we'll just trim the length down a little bit. Now, just to clean up right behind the jig head, I'm just going to take a little bit of ice dub in fluorescent hot pink. And this is going to be to hide those final tie-off points, hide any of that extra thread, that kind of stuff. Just looks a little bit neater, a little bit cleaner. Not a must, but I just like how it kind of tidies everything up. Take our whip finish, do her once, twice, trim that off, and there you have a nice big marabou jig. So this is quite a bit bigger than a lot of the other float fishing jigs that you'll see out there. Don't let its size scare you away from using something like this. Having a big profile, big presentation isn't always a bad thing. If you look at a lot of the flies that people are fishing out there, they're that big, if not even bigger. I've always kind of fished things with the idea in my head that I want the one that wants to kill this. I don't want the one that wants to run away. I would throw some water-based scent in there. You know, some Procure water-soluble sand shrimp would be an excellent addition to something like this. And like I said, throw it out there with a lot of confidence and wait for the big crushing float down. Like always, I'll have all the materials posted in the description for this guy right here. If you want to grab any of the materials, come by the shop. If you got any questions about this jig, you can give me a call at the store, send me an email, or else come on by. I'm always happy to talk about jigs and flies and all that kind of stuff. Materials can all be purchased online, www.c-run.com. Hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see a lot more cool content that we got coming out, not just jigs, flies, product reviews, all kinds of cool stuff out there. But hope you guys like this one, and happy tying, everybody. Thanks for watching.